All right, so here we are in the computer going to look at Falls City. So right now I have pulled up Google Maps. And I'm just going to show you around where are we at within the state, where are we at in proximity to some of the major cities, and where are we at in proximity to a lot of the things that there are to do around Falls City on the east side here of Washington when you're living here. So as we see here inside of Google Maps, here we are, Falls City, small community, small little town. It is right on the Snoqualmie River, as well as the Raging River. So if I zoom out a little bit, you can see this river coming through just slightly here, and it actually goes into the Snoqualmie River right at Falls City. So right where 202 and Preston Falls City kind of merge, and there's that bridge there that we will actually take a look at as we go to the video. But Falls City, if we zoom out a little bit so you can get an idea of where you're at in the state, here we are. So we've got the Cascades over to the east. We've got Snoqualmie over here. And then, of course, Seattle is to the west. So if you're living in Falls City, what does that look like in terms of getting places? So Issaquah is going to be your first stop. Issaquah or Snoqualmie if you're going to be going out to the east. But Issaquah is a pretty quick drive. Let me pull up the in terms of getting into Issaquah, going to be our first stop, like I said, or going into Bellevue, going into Seattle as well. So if we just look at taking from Falls City, we're going to go down up towards Preston and jump on I-90. 90 is going to take us all the way into Issaquah. If you've seen any of the other videos, you know that 90 is kind of that main corridor, at least going east to west for. So going into Issaquah from Falls City, the center of the heart of Falls City, we're really looking at about 15 minutes. If we keep going down 90, that's going to take us all the way into Bellevue. Bellevue's going to be about 25 minutes. And let me actually clear this and show you there's another route we can actually go as well. Close that out. So into Bellevue is going to be about 25 minutes, but Falls City is a unique area. We can actually kind of get around in a few different ways. So if we take 202, couple options, we can go 202 all the way through into Redmond, jump on the 520, and then go south on 405 as well. It's gonna be a little bit longer. It's gonna be about 35 minutes, especially depending on what 202 is doing. It can get backed up at certain times. It is a 2-lane road for most of 202. So if you get stuck behind somebody, you might be there for a little while. The other option is actually going 202. And then if we zoom in a little bit here, if we go 202 and then go up over Sammamish, we can jump on Duthie and we can come all the way down through the Issaquah Highlands and then jump on 90 that way. It's going to usually shave off on 5 to 8 minutes of your time, but you've got options. So you can go 202 up and around through Redmond, jump on the 405 and go south, or you can just typically jump on I-90 and basically head west from there. Seattle is no different. We're going to stay on 90 and take us all the way into Seattle, 35 minutes to get there. Pretty quick straight shot. You theoretically, same thing, could go 202, 520 all the way over to I-5. Most typically won't do that because as you go through Redmond, you're probably going to run into some traffic there as well. And then, of course, if we are going to go out towards the mountains, we can jump on I-90 again. Same thing, going to get up into Preston, going to take a 90 all the way through Snoqualmie, and then we can take that all the way on 90 to the Snoqualmie Pass, all of your skiing, snowboarding, all of your winter sports. And from there, you're looking at like a 40-minute drive from Falls City. The other main hub is going to be obviously going into Snoqualmie very quick. Snoqualmie Falls from Falls City is about an 8-minute drive. And I'll actually zoom in a little bit here for you so you can kind of see. But Salish right here is going to be where the falls are actually at. So if you are in Falls City, you jump on 202, you could just cruise right up to Snoqualmie Falls very quickly. I believe I've shown Salish Lodge in a couple other videos, but we can take a look at some of the images here as well. The lodge is right at the top of the falls. Here's a great picture kind of showing what you get. This is at one of our favorite restaurants in the Salish Lodge. Great pizzas, wood-fired pizzas there, so it's a good spot to go. Outside of Salish Lodge, we've also got some other just attractions. That kind of covers kind of how to get in and out of Falls City. But again, what is there around Falls City? One of the tourist attractions is obviously Snoqualmie Falls. It gets pretty full in the summer. Although it should probably get pretty full in the winter when it's actually running pretty well. But Treehouse Point is another one. So if you've watched any Treehouse Masters and you're a fan of Treehouse Masters, it is right down the road. It's basically in your backyard here if you are in Falls City. It's a pretty cool spot. There's a couple of those images for you here. And this is right on that raging river. So all of these tree houses are on the river. And there it is. So again, right up the road, right in your backyard. If you're in Falls City, it's 5 minutes up the road between Falls City and Preston. Inside of Falls City, one of the stops that we'll show you in kind of the vlog tour is Small Fries. We do a little drive-by. We do a little drive-by in there, so stick around as we do our little drive-by. Aroma Coffee, phenomenal coffee right there. You've got your 2 golf courses, which we touch on in the video as well. So Twin Rivers is on this west side of the Snoqualmie River. And then right on the other side, you've got Snoqualmie Falls, which is pretty unique. There are actually holes that both border this river here, so you can actually see what everyone's doing over on the other course as you're playing over there. The schools, you've got Chief Cana Middle School that is right down the road. It's basically in downtown Falls City, so very, very quick and easy to get to. The elementary school is also right here as well. So Falls City Elementary School is right here. I think that covers most of the big to-dos in the area. Just to recap, you're looking at basically a 25 to 35 minute drive to some of the major hubs: Issaquah, Sammamish, Bellevue, Seattle, Factoria. You're going to get on 90 and it's going to take you, it's no different than kind of if you're once you get to 90, you're right in between North Bend and Issaquah. So you're splitting some of that time in half as you get onto I-90. It does give you the option to kind of go 202 as well. And you do have a little bit more access to kind of moving up north and east in the state, or not too far east, but up into Carnation, as you see here, and as well into kind of the Duval area. So lots of easy in and out, but as you can see in the map, you are a little bit further off the beaten path, and the properties kind of show this. So as we'll show in downtown Falls City, you're looking kind of that lower price point, which we will show you and touch on. But then as you get farther out, you start to get some properties with more land, more of a view. Some of these are, big estates with 3 to 5 acres on there. The low price point that we are going to touch on is right downtown, right in downtown Snoqualmie, right in downtown Falls City. Let me actually jump into the MLS to show you a little bit better. So here we are in Falls City. Again, the map of Falls City, at least from the city kind of overlay, is actually a little bit smaller than some of these addresses. So the first stop we are going to make is right here in downtown Falls City, right off of the river, right by the elementary school and the middle school, really in the heart of Falls City. Some unique properties in this area, depending on where we're at. You're going to have some of the older homes, some of the older ramblers that are kind of really in that low 600s to mid 7s, depending on the build, depending on obviously if there's been any remodels. But then you've also got some lots that do have some property that are right downtown there. They're going to go a little bit higher. Your mid mid ones up to $2 million. But those are going to be more of your ranch style with some acreage. As we zoom out a little bit and we go to our second stop, this is the Heathercrest community. Right in here is really where we are at. So as we kind of cruise out of Falls City and we go up towards Lake Alice, which is a pretty A pretty popular spot in the summer is Lake Alice here. That's right on the border of the Snoqualmie Ridge. As we cruise up there, this Heather Crest community is going to be kind of that mid price point in Fall City. We're really looking, and we'll show you in the vlog tour as well. But you're kind of looking at that 900 range up to your low 1.1s, your low $1.2 million range. Some beautiful homes. You're going to get a little bit more acreage on there as well. That's going to be your 3 and your 4 bedrooms versus kind of that Rambler, your 2 and 3s with your 1 bath in downtown Fall City. And then, of course, stop number 3 is going to be the higher end, which we actually get outside of downtown Fall City to get there. So here we are right here. Where'd those circles come from? Let's take those off. There we go. So as we go on 202, we are actually going to go up towards Aldera, the Aldera Estates, and we're going to kind of run into the Aldera Ridge as well as Tremont up there. And these homes, you're really looking, this is your 3 to 5 acres, 5,000 square foot homes that are really going to be pushing that $2.5 million range. But again, they're all right in downtown. The nice things about those homes as well is that you are off that beaten path. You have privacy, you have acreage, but you can still jump onto 202 and get to Redmond, and therefore kind of 520 in the major freeways, or you can kind of come down through Fall City or up and over Sammamish as well. So those are the 3 price points that we are going to be looking at. Again, just going back at the map, just kind of giving that overview again. We are right up against the Cascades here, going through, just showing you some of the places that we have touched on, that if you're interested in these, I would suggest definitely going and looking at some of those videos. We've got North Bend that's going to be just to your east. Snoqualmie is right here as well. Issaquah is just going to be 20 minutes away, downtown Issaquah. And then if you keep on cruising, you're going to hit Bellevue in Seattle. Of course, all that Bellevue in Seattle has to offer. But Fall City, again, is really going to be one of those locations that it's very unique. You're on the river right there. The views are amazing. Depending on where you're at in Fall City, you're going to get some phenomenal lots, and there's lots of unique homes and price points because Fall City has really been around for quite a while. So some of those areas are going through some transition. Some you really get that older, 1940s, 1950s feel. But then, of course, if you want to go towards that higher price point, you can do that as well. And just like Sammamish, just like Issaquah, just like North Bend, everything right here on that I-90 corridor, you can get in and out of the city fairly quickly. All the different areas that I've touched on in our other videos are all accessible. The lakes, the mountain biking, the winter sports over at the pass, they're all accessible. Really, you can almost do anything you want to do within a 30 to 40 minute drive, depending on what that is and what season you're actually in. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what it's like to kind of live and breathe and eat in Fall City. As always, we're here to help you make this smooth transition. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to go take a look at some of these, if you're in the area, please comment, message us below, DM us, all the things, and we'd be happy to help you make that a smooth transition.